it is best to have friends that you trust, and not to post stuff that you wouldn't want anybody else to read. Because usually the friends of your friends, you've got like 1,000 friends or something. I don't, but if you did, 307. But if you had 1,000 of them, originally I only had 18, but then I followed the rules and got more. So the ones that have 1,000, like some of my nieces and nephews got like 1,000 friends, they don't know those 1,000 people. Half of them don't know each other. It's like it's impossible. You do not know 1,000 people. South Park was making fun of that. All right, so if you know 1,000 people, don't post stuff like your catty troubles on the internet if you're a boy or a girl, because especially if you're in high school, because somebody out there is your enemy or your enemy's friend, and they're looking at their thing on the internet too. So don't post anything real personal. Keep everything cordial and stuff, especially if you have thousands of friends. Don't go twittering to all your friends about how so-and-so sucks because her hair color is wrong or whatever. Because that's just being, catty, or in the case of guys, being a doof. Don't be a doof. A doofus. So yeah. There you go with that one. Don't be catty. Don't be doofus. So there's some good etiquette stuff to remember on the internet. Make the internet a safe and nice environment. Yeah. That's our PSA for tonight. The big long PSA blog. Ranting about the internet and what you should do involving internet etiquette. Yeah, so there's other things about internet etiquette. You could go on for a long time. There's obvious common sense things. Do not post illicit pictures on the internet. Your boss could see them. Your friends could see them. Your enemies, that would be worse, could see them. Or your boss, that would be bad too, because you don't want your boss to see that. Don't post pictures of you guys partying and carousing and getting drunk and smashed and your friend dancing on a table. Your friend dancing on the table may not appreciate it and become your enemy, or your boss might see it, or maybe you're not supposed to be at the party or whatever. Just don't do that. Just don't do that. Also, when you're on the computer and you're like obsessing over somebody, and I'm not naming anybody, I'm really not, because I've done that, and you're like, why are these people not inviting me to that cool party they're seeing on their pictures or whatnot, or not to their friends group? Maybe you've whined so much, maybe you've upset them so much, they don't want to invite you to their party. Maybe now you have to get back on their good graces and get them to invite you to a party. Maybe that's all it is. Maybe that's all it is. So get on their good graces. And for the most part, internet, they make it look like people really care if they say like how are you, what are you doing, whatever, and how's it going, whatever. That is a showstopper. So it's called a showstopper. When they ask how are you, they really don't care. How are you? They're just saying, how's it going? And you reply, fine. It's a showstopper. That's the end of the conversation. They don't really want you to come in and say, oh, well, life sucked today. Or, oh, well, life was Jim Dandy today. It was wonderful. Or today. They don't want to hear that either. They're not all on the same wavelength you're on. So you have to think about that too. Are they on the same wave? Do they even know what you're talking about? So there you go. Half the time, I don't know what I'm talking about. But you should go out there on the internet and be wary of all that. All those other etiquette rules. Don't put anything illicit on there. Especially don't put anything dirty on there. Because you get banned if you do that. Yeah, it's just not a good idea. It's not a good idea to try to impress people with how awesome you are or how sexy you are. It's a very bad idea. Do not put that on the internet. Wrong people might see that. And you don't want the wrong people seeing that. Don't do that. This society is weird enough as it is. Without all that extra stuff. In my day, they didn't have the internet. When I was in high school and in early college, they didn't have the internet. They had just started the internet when I was in college. And they didn't have fast broadband connections and making YouTube videos and could do this. I would have done this. But they didn't have that. So people actually had to do something unthinkable. When they wanted to communicate with each other, they had to write a letter. Believe it or not, they had to write a letter. Now, if they were really bold and they really knew the people that they were talking to, they would call upon them on the telephone. Not a cell phone, although they were like a brick when I was in college. They could use a cell phone. But usually it was a landline, and they would call up somebody and talk about catty about such and such, or talk about guys talking about their cars or whatever, or the gun show, or whatever, the baseball game or the football game, or they'd hang out at their house, you know. But they'd have to actually call each other. So there'd be this sort of disconnect. There'd be this sort of, hey, you know, it's going to take me a while to contact Joe Blow here, because I'm going to have to call him first. It's going to take 15, 20 minutes, you know, to get through and all that. And then we're going to chat, and they might not even be there. Of course, there was a certain extent of that, too, because at the time, they would wonder why that person isn't calling. They would call them over and over again and harangue them until they didn't want to talk to you anymore. So even that back then, it was the same idea. It's like, why are you calling this person over and over again because you like them? Piss them off. Don't piss them off. So there you go. The internet allows us to instantaneously Google and Skype and Twitter and contact all these other people, and it causes a lot of issues. And life was slower back then, but it's like, maybe that's not such a good thing if that life is so fast-paced. It was like I was saying in a Bible study earlier. The only way that Jesus coming back to earth right now would get our attention is if he turned it all off and put himself on it. Suddenly one day, every satellite, every internet channel, every Google, every YouTube channel suddenly switches to Jesus, and he's right there. And he's like, hey, getting your attention. Now that would be interesting, because they would just, and they would try to switch the channel, and it would be like, you know, funky, like Matrixy kind of thing, and you wouldn't be able to switch channels. Yeah, nothing but him. It'd be like the all Jesus channel, and you'd be like, what the? I'd be like, okay, rapture, and, you know, whatever, and that would be interesting. I don't know whether the world can handle it. So. In the case of paraphrasing scriptures and things, and if you believe or you don't believe, that's another story. But just remember, be nice to your friends. Keep your enemies close so that you know where they are. And be nice to them, though, whenever possible. Block them whenever possible, because you don't need the hassle. Don't be snarty and catty and whatnot. And don't worry so much about whether you haven't been invited somewhere to the blog sphere, or whether you haven't been going to this or that party. People will eventually hang around you if you're nice to them. If you are interested in what they're interested in. If you do something they're interested in. If I walk into the room and start talking about Star Trek, for instance, only a few people will pop out. If I start talking about the baseball game, a few more. If I start talking about the local TV shows, reality TV shows, knowing nothing about them really, I would have even more. So it's like, you gotta just, you know, play your cards right, you know? You can't just jump in there with guns blazing and come up with a solution to everything. The Cat Show will go into other stuff as well. This is just internet etiquette for the masses thingy. I probably rambled too long to put this on YouTube as one segment, but I'm gonna anyways. You get internet etiquette with Cat. Silly Kelly, or whatever. I guess I'm doing Cat. But, there you go. There's your PSA for the evening. Deep, deep, down, down, deep down in the heart. Oh yeah, you love it when they say stuff like, oh, they're like suddenly, you know, doing the deal about whether they're really perturbed by stuff one person is writing, but not by stuff 50 other people are writing. This one person singles them out. And then they turn around and single out some other person who isn't even there and say, why is that person paying attention to me? Boy or girl, doesn't matter. And it's like, well, maybe they weren't on there. Maybe they didn't know. Maybe they were too busy to know. Maybe they are creeped out too, and they don't want it. But, you know, it's just an excuse for the whole thing. But anyway, so just be nice to everybody. Don't guard your tongue and your heart, and don't lust after the patterns of the world, for to be their undoing of the world. They say the love of money is the root of all evil, not money. The love of money. They say that the love of the world is the root of all evil too. You feel completely love the world and all the things in the world. It's nothing but nothingness and misery. So don't do that. That's what they say. You know? That's not just a catechism. That's a biblical thing. I didn't paraphrase it right, but I didn't originally say it. But there you go. So keep your, be friends with people. Keep friends out there. Real friends. Your Facebook friends, unless they're your close